Okay, so when you come in, just so you know, like this is the irrigation, this is all the water stuff. Hopefully everything will be set so you don't have to turn anything on. This will have an irrigation timer hooked up to it before we go. Don't touch it. Make sure this is switched to the on position. And then, but you won't have to do anything there. This is the hose that will be available to you guys if you need it. So if it happens to be switched to off, you can switch it to on. And if you remember to put it back to off when you leave, that's great. And this spigot will be open all of the way so that the irrigation system is running. So just don't touch the spigot at all. Great. Okay. So things for you to harvest, things for you to look for. So there's tomatoes all growing through here. We fertilized and pruned them this week, so you shouldn't have any trouble. There's some baby lettuces like down here. If it seems like it's real dry down there, which it really shouldn't be, you can go ahead and give them a drink of water from the rain barrel, but you shouldn't have to worry about them. Here are some pretty dahlias if you cut flowers. The potatoes are on their own. There are greens in this bed to harvest. There's also a teeny bit of cilantro. I don't know if it'll still be there. Help yourself. This row also has greens. If you come in and you see that there are like leaves like this, it means like there's a caterpillar or something growing in there, and I would just pick that leaf off by the stem. You can make a pile and maybe give them to the chickens before you go. If you're afraid of throwing them in the chicken coop, you can just go ahead and put them in one of the waste bins on your way out. Okay, there's eggplant in this row as well. They're kind of long and skinny, so I'm going to leave, there's some in progress, but I think they can get a bit longer than that one, but it's pretty good size. There's oregano and parsley down in the ends of these rows. There may be a little bit of romaine lettuce left, but it's too hot for it. Nothing else around here that you'll really have to pay attention to. There are cucumber plants coming in here, so if you like scouting for cucumber beetles or feel like you want to be part of watching them train up onto these lines, you can go ahead and do that. These are sweet peas. They're kind of round in all colors, so feel free to cut some of those. Let's see, this is ageratum, and it's a nice cut flower too. There should be seeds coming up in this bed pretty soon, probably while we're gone, some beans. If it gets real hot and it doesn't look like these irrigation lines are keeping the soil wet, just because when things are germinating they need to be wet like right near the seed, you can go ahead and hand water this one as well. Any of the hand watering is really, hopefully should only have to be done a couple times, but if you happen to notice it and you have the time, that'll be great. These are all winter squashes. If you're familiar with squash beetles, you can go ahead and look underneath the leaves and see if you can find any of the golden eggs they lay. If you get those, just rub them off with your finger and let them drop to the soil, and they will not make it. There's some squash over here, so you might get lucky and get a zucchini, but I have been picking squash beetles and eggs off of this plant this afternoon, so I don't know how much longer it's going to last. Enjoy it while you can. Okay, just remember to watch where you're walking. These are beans that are coming up. They should be pretty self-sufficient. More squashes. There are potatoes coming up in this bed, which it looks like does not have an irrigation line. So if this still doesn't have an irrigation line, the potatoes are pretty good at just living deep in the mulch. But if it feels pretty dry, there's a hose out here that is connected to the line that I showed you at the beginning, and you can use that for any kind of like full bed watering that needs to happen. There are tomatoes in through here, so please help yourself to some while you're around. I'll be hopefully making a schedule so people will know how much to take. There's basil down there as well, so feel free to harvest some of that. More squashes if you want to hunt for squash bugs. This row has some tomatillos and peppers, so feel free to look around there. And then this row does have some seeds in it, and it's another one of these that's just not irrigated yet, so if you can hose it down, that would be great. I'm going to leave the hose kind of pulled to back here since the places that need it are all back here. In here is another place where, since it doesn't rain, it really needs water. So I will be getting the irrigation hooked up to it before I go. But if you ever, all these things would benefit from more water. So if you get into that zen place. This is the ginger. It really likes water and everything. And everything else in here. There's more squashes starting if you're like looking for bugs. And tomatoes to harvest. So enjoy yourself, and I'll see you when I get back. Bye.